Hello, good evening and welcome to this evening's webinar where we're going to be talking about all things Airbnb and how to make fantastic returns from properties that you may already have or managing other people's properties. But before I get started with this evening's webinar, what I'd like to do is share with you this. We've been working very hard in the background to come up with ways in which people can access our training. We realise that so many people want to change their lives, but not everybody's necessarily got the amount of money that they would need to invest in themselves straight off the bat. So what we've put in place, and I'll give you details of this at the end of this evening's webinar, full details, is a fantastic payment plan where you can actually apply for finance. You get 0% APR, perhaps over a year, a very affordable low deposit. You can enjoy the course and any bonuses straight away. So you don't have to wait until, previously we had to wait until full payment had been received. But now you can access any of our courses, any Touchstone course, using this payment plan. Now that we've been approved for full finance, you can just make the low deposit, you can enjoy the course and bonuses straight away, and you get simple, affordable monthly payments spread, in this example, over a year. So just hold that in mind. The number one reason that I get as to why people don't invest in themselves is they say they can't afford it. Well, an hour from now, see what you think in terms of what the necessary investment is, because I think you're going to be very, very pleasantly surprised. Anyway, let's get on with this evening's webinar. Please put your name in the box, where you're from. That'll really help me in terms of making sure that you can all hear me, you can all see the slides and everything else. So I'm going to get ready to go with the webinar, but just hold that in your head. If this is something you really want to do, we've made it as affordable as possible, and I'll give you full details 1 hour from now. Welcome to this webinar, brought to you by Touchstone Education, and I'm Paul Smith. So what are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about maximising profit from Airbnb. How can you get £1,000 per month extra cash flow from what effectively becomes a hands-free hotel? So if you like the idea of an extra £1,000 per month after all costs from a hands-free hotel that you quite possibly already own, could be a buy-to-let, could be an HMO, might be your friend's buy-to-let that you're going to manage for them. So regardless of the particular circumstances, stay with me for the next hour and 15 minutes, and I'm going to show you precisely how you can make all that money really, really quickly and really, really simply. So we're going to focus today on Airbnb, and we're going to cover how to set up an account and list your properties. And I've got a special gift for you on that precise topic. Tips and hints for success from experts who've been there before, who've done it, who've seen it. Dealing with inquiries and accepting bookings. I've got a very, very special short video for you on that. What are Airbnb's requirements and the standards that you need to achieve to be a host? Perhaps you've even heard of being a super host. What other online travel agencies, OTAs, can you list on? I'm sure you know of some, like Booking.com. How many others are there? Do you know? Would you like to know? And some case studies, real first-hand examples, and how to guarantee happy guests. So very, very briefly, myself and my wonderful wife Aniko, well, we've got close to £9 million worth of property now. We started in buy-to-lets, like many people, I suppose. Next, we went to commercial and pension funds, which is a bit unusual. Love doing that. And then commercial conversions, and then 4 years ago now, almost 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago, we discovered serviced accommodation, and we've been there ever since. So we own property businesses. We've got wonderful staff that help us with all the different aspects of our property businesses, and we founded Touchstone Education. So 4 years ago, we're not on Airbnb, and that is a recent screenshot from my phone. More than £10,000 in the day. You can see that there, Diamond Service Apartments. More than £10,000 in the day. And if you look at the month, so the 1M button is circled on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, more than £200,000 of takings. Now, that's not profit, that's turnover. So I'll explain that to you as we go through. But obviously, you can probably hear in my voice, I always get really excited whenever I start talking about service accommodation. So I hope you're going to enjoy this webinar, and I hope you're going to implement the information, the knowledge that I'm sharing with you really, really soon. So this is what I do. I work with groups of people, sometimes large groups of people like this. This was 350 people in London, but very often I'm dealing with maybe 40, 50 people, maybe even 30 people in some sort of masterclass type environment, service accommodation masterclass or whatever. So what is Touchstone Education? Well, it's a 7,000 square foot building in Doncaster is our HQ. This is actually a service accommodation group hard at work. Nice intimate tables there, not too many people, and fascinated. They're so focused on changing their lives. I just love working with people like this. They are just so focused. And in the same way that I thank each and every one of them for turning up and studying hard and making a real difference to their lives, I want to thank each and every one of you for both registering and, more importantly, attending this webinar. It's absolutely fabulous to be working with action takers, because most people that got the email that you got didn't sign up. And probably 50% of the people that signed up didn't even turn up. So they're missing out on a chance to completely change their lives. So I want to congratulate you on taking that opportunity to completely change your life. So what's the relationship between Diamond and Touchstone? Well, Touchstone is our education company, and Diamond is Touchstone's sister company. Okay, so what does Diamond do? Well, it does the operational service apartment management. So we're going to be talking a lot about that over the next hour or so. And Touchstone Education, Diamond Operations. So we've got a number of different Diamond companies doing a number of different things, but collectively, Diamond means operations. So it manages our own service apartment units. We've got that in one Diamond company. But it also provides a service whereby we manage customer service apartment units completely hands-free. We're UK-wide. We go from the north of Scotland to the south coast of England. We've currently got over 170 properties live. It's always very difficult for me to say exactly because we're sending them live virtually every day. And we've got 100 plus units in our pipeline. So within the next few months, we'll be close to 300 units. And within the next year, 15 months, our intention is to be up at 800 units. So if you've got that kind of scale of ambition, then I'd like to be working with you. But equally, if you've got 4 or 5 buy-to-lets that you want to turn into service apartments, I want to be working with you too. So it doesn't really matter if you've got no experience, doesn't matter if you've got 200 units. We've got all sorts of people in our community. And if you want to join our community, I want to work with you. So imagine what your life is going to be like when you've got more free time, making more money than you could ever need. And this is a real pleasure, a privilege for me to be exposed and working on a frequent basis with people that have made precisely that change to their lives as a result of Touchstone Education and the information and the knowledge that they've picked up through working with the community. Completely changed their lives. Imagine what your life is going to be like when you're maximising profits from simple to set up Airbnb listings. Imagine what that's going to be like. Imagine you know how to set up the perfect service accommodation unit, so a flat or a house listed on Airbnb and all the rest. We call that a service accommodation unit, in an exact, precise location. Imagine you know that. Imagine you really know demand and costs before you send your property live. How good would that be? What difference is that going to make to you and your family and your loved ones? I think it's going to be huge, which is why I'm so excited to be able to work with you. So I've put together a short video here, and all the data is either from Airbnb or Booking.com. It's only a few minutes. I'm going to play it for you right now. So enjoy, take lots of notes, and see if any of these facts and figures surprise you. So it's an introduction to service accommodation, and specifically, is service accommodation a fad or is it here to stay? So indeed, welcome to our world. I hope you found that short video informative and interesting. Perhaps to pull out a couple of facts and figures from it, Airbnb's revenue between 2016 and 2020 is set to more than double. How about that, everybody? Half the world is on the internet, and you can advertise to all of those people your property for free. So I just find this whole thing so incredible. I mean, I've been doing it for years now, but I still find it incredibly exciting. Absolutely fantastically exciting. So I hope that gives you an insight into what service accommodation is, and potentially the beginning of an idea as to how you could potentially use Airbnb to increase the income from your property, or from a friend's property, or even from a complete stranger landlord's property that you could manage on their behalf as an Airbnb unit, as a service accommodation unit. But I quite often get the question, well, you know, if this is such a great idea, how come everybody's not doing it? Well, I think it's the problem, isn't it? As soon as everybody's doing it, it ain't a great idea. 99.9996% of the world's population are not millionaires. So if you want to be a millionaire, you better do something that 99.996% of the population is not doing. But specifically from a technical perspective, 10 years ago, the internet just wasn't up to it. Do you remember dial-up modems and all that nonsense? E-commerce is the last 5 years. People, prior to that, people were saying, oh, don't put your credit card in the internet. They all steal it, whoever they are. But it's normal for people to use credit cards on the internet now. Globalization. So would people want to come and stay with Paul in Doncaster? Maybe, maybe not. Who's Paul? Do you want to book an accommodation through Airbnb in Doncaster? Absolutely, because you've got big global brands like Airbnb that everyone recognises. And specifically mobile devices. Don't know if you picked it up from that short video, but something like 66%, or 2/3, let's say, of the same-day bookings are made from mobile phones. So the technology was just not there to support all this stuff 10 years ago. So there's lots and lots of other factors, but it's your chance for financial security because technology has brought this opportunity to your doorstep right here, right now, today. So if you want to take advantage of this, I'm going to share that with you over the next hour. But specifically, you couldn't possibly have been using Airbnb more than 10 years ago because it was founded in August 2008. So since August 2008, Airbnb has been increasingly spread around the globe, but it's impossible that you could have been using it before that because it didn't exist. So a few words about Airbnb's founders. So Joe Gebbia, not many people know about him. There's 3 co-founders, there's pictures of them all here. So what does Joe do? Well, Joe leads design and Joe leads culture within the organisation. So it's a slightly unusual position. Not every organisation would have someone that's actually responsible for culture within the environment or in the company. But I think it speaks volumes of Airbnb that they're not a typical company. They've succeeded because they've disrupted the model. Many people would know Brian Chesky, or if you know any of these guys, the one that you probably know is Brian. So, and by the way, a last thing on Joe, it was actually his flat in San Francisco, which was the very first one that was ever used. That was the flat that started Airbnb. Brian Chesky, he's the chief executive officer, so he runs the company in a literal sense. And he's grown from zero listings, or he's the architect behind growing from zero listings to 3 million plus listings in more than 191 different countries around the world. And finally, Nathan's the engineer. He's the tech officer. You know, he's the if you like, the anorak, the brains, or whatever you want to call it, the scientist. But specifically, he's also responsible for Airbnb China, which is one of their next biggest expansion initiatives. So just a little tiny bit about the founders. And I have to move on to some more background on Airbnb. There's some interesting lessons here. It launched and relaunched several times. The first 4, 5, 6 times it launched, it failed. It stopped. It ran out of money. Let's start again. Then in August 2008, this is where it really took off. Obama decided to do one of his big election speeches in Denver. Well, Denver's only got 20,000. Denver, Colorado. Denver's only got 20,000 hotel rooms, and so they worked with. So Obama's party worked with Airbnb to help set up accommodation to be able to look after the presidential election party. Because you can imagine trying to put 100,000 extra people into a city that's only got 20,000 hotel rooms. That's going to be problematic. So they went from 0 to 800 rooms listed on Airbnb in Denver in just 4 weeks. So talk about capitalizing on an opportunity. They've gone from absolutely nowhere to one of the biggest companies in the world because they said yes. Sometimes you get offered the chance to do something, you're not quite sure how it's going to work. Well, if ever anybody gives you the opportunity to do something and it's an attractive opportunity, say yes, and then work out how you're going to fill all the blanks in later. Okay, so if Airbnb, if service accommodation is something that appeals to you, I'm going to give you the opportunity in the next hour to say, yes, I want to come and work with you. So when that opportunity presents, please think long and hard and please say yes. Because imagine what would have happened to these 3 guys if they'd have said, no, it's too difficult. But to give you another example of how they kept saying yes, they were skint. They were maxed out on their credit cards. So they decided, we've got all these people who love Obama, we're going to sell Obama cereal, like cornflakes or whatever, but Obama cereal. So they went to all the cereal manufacturers, and the cereal manufacturers said, no, don't think so. We're not doing you a special one-off of Obama flakes or whatever they called them. So not to be put back, they just went and got some blank boxes, got them printed up, went down to the convenience or the grocery store or whatever the Americans call it, and bought other boxes of cereal and then just tipped them into the Obama boxes, and they sold them for $40 each. And they sold 500 boxes. And they used that to pay off their $20,000 worth of credit cards. So they not only did they set up a multi-billion pound company based on the back of one opportunity, but they also took the time and the effort to clear their credit card bills in a weekend as well. So if you like the idea of working with people that have got this level of innovation, and I just love it, it's just absolute fun to work with these kind of people. So, would you rather do a boring 9 to 5, or would you rather be tearing around trying to design Obama flakes and clear off all your credit card debts? Well, fortunately for you, you don't need to do anything quite that crazy, because just working with Airbnb, taking properties you've already got or properties that you can work with other landlords to control, you can make that kind of money in a very, very few months. Very, very few months. And to quote them, rejection is an invitation to keep going, because they had to keep getting back up. And eventually they made it. So what does Airbnb look like today? Well, over the last few years, it's accommodated more than 200 million guests. That's right, 200 million guests have stayed with Airbnb. It operates in 65,000 cities, or more than 65,000 cities. It's got, love this stat, I want one of these. You might have heard me say that before. It's got more than 1,400 castles on Airbnb. I'm very jealous. 191 countries and counting. And it's now estimated to be worth $30 billion. And they started it all on credit cards with $20,000. So, if someone gives you the chance to start a multi-billion pound company for a few $1,000s or a few £1,000s on your credit card, I think you've got to go for it. Because what are you walking away from if you miss out on that opportunity? So virtually every country in the globe has got Airbnb in it. I mean, I normally say it's all the places that you'd actually want to go to. I mean, I don't think Airbnb operates in North Korea, for instance, but I don't particularly want to go stay in North Korea. So if it's vaguely interesting to go there, Airbnb is probably there. So here's a very recent example. A property that we call Lantern Way, it's listed on Airbnb, is in London. It's one of our London properties. Just want to give you a few facts and figures because it's a relatively recent launch. So it went live on the 23rd of November, and we took 6 bookings within 48 hours. I'm just going to give you the first 28 days of data from this particular property. So this is kind of late November to late December, and this is 2017, just as an example. So you can see on the right-hand side how important the pictures are. It looks nice. It's been professionally, put my teeth back in, professionally photographed, and very professionally dressed. So you can see some herbs and some vegetables and so on in the kitchen. I think that's lemons I can see on the far side near the kettle. The bed is not only made up, but it's got, the nice attractive towels on it with the toiletries and so on. So we haven't just gone in there and photographed a bare apartment because that doesn't look very inviting. But we've made sure the professional photography, very airy and light. I'll be coming back to this topic shortly. And we've dressed it. So 4 of those 6 bookings were from Airbnb. So you can see how important Airbnb is, especially in London. I'll say London, Edinburgh and York. Airbnb, you could almost run your SA business just on Airbnb without using any of the other engines. So the total booking values for those 6 bookings in the first 48 hours was £2,000. Now I should point out that whenever we launch an apartment, to make sure it's nice and busy and get reviews and all that good stuff, we normally half the price. So, and you can see how effective that is. £2,000 worth of bookings within 48 hours. So here's what an Airbnb booking calendar looks like. So you can see we turned it on the 23rd of November. You can see November in the middle of your screen there. And so we got the first booking, or the first customer came in on the 24th. And you can see there was just 1 day vacant there. And then over we went to the longer term booking. Various customer names there. You can see Disman, no idea who Disman is, and Phil Burke, no idea who that is either. But these are the people that stayed with us, and that's what an Airbnb booking calendar looks like. This is from Kigo, our channel manager. Talk a little bit about those later on. So you can see the period that was covered in this first almost month. It's from the 23rd of November to the 21st of December. You can see that it says Diamond being the operational company, Lantern Way apartment. If you come down to the bottom, 29 nights, 28 of which were bookable. We've taken out 1 night for something, I don't know what. So 26, so of the 28 available, we've had guests in for 26, which is a 92% occupancy, an average of £80 or £78.52 per day, which gives us a net revenue of just over £2,000. So that's just a little tiny flat in the outskirts of London. So we're not talking zone 1 with a 3-bedroom flat here. It's very nice, but that's just to show you the first month. So this is to show you how quick it can be done. So I'm now going to share with you some insider secrets from our ops manager, from our operations manager, from our service accommodation operations manager. So this is Samantha, and Samantha is now going to be talking to you about some real insider secrets from someone that does this for their day job. This is what she does. Doesn't do anything else. She operates serviced apartments, and we've asked her some questions, and she's very kindly given us a very candid set of responses. So you want to be taking a load of notes while Samantha is talking. This next, I think it's 6-7 minutes, is going to be jam-packed with stuff that you want to be doing in your serviced apartment business. All right, here we go.
Okay, so at Diamond Serviced Apartments, we do list on Airbnb all of our properties. It's a fantastic tool to use and it's really easy to set up. So we actually link through our channel manager now with Airbnb, but you can register and set up an account with them to host, and anybody can do that. They will identify you when you set up the account, but anybody can essentially do that and list your serviced accommodation with them. When you register, it's a step-by-step process and you literally follow the on-screen prompts and enter all the information about your property, and you can set different rates for weekends and extra person fees, and I would encourage you to use extra person fees because you will get a lot more traction for your bookings through there. It's so simple to use and it's great for guests as well once you've all set up, because you get instant messages through from them and you can answer straight through Airbnb, and it's like a Facebook Messenger, if you will, but through Airbnb, so everything is centralised there for you. So it's really, really user friendly for both the operator and for the guest as well. There are a lot of pros. You get a lot longer stays through Airbnb, which is fantastic. As you can imagine, if there's less operating costs, there's less turns to that. I think the biggest booking that we have had was actually for an inquiry for £30,000 worth of bookings in Doncaster. And we had a booking for Bournemouth, which was £11,000 as well. So you get really substantial, meaty bookings through there. And like I said, it's really easy to communicate with your guests. One of the downsides to listing with Airbnb is guests will sometimes want to talk to you over the phone, which is great because you want to talk to your guests, but Airbnb do block all contact numbers, and that's you sending them to the guest and the guest sending their contact numbers. And it's sometimes a little tricky to get guests to understand why you can't talk to them over the phone or why you can't send those details through Airbnb's portal, but it's just important to express that it's for their security and for ours. They're protecting their personal information, but if you explain that your number is readily available, most guests will be able to find that, and if they contact Airbnb, who do have 24/7 support for both guests and operators, they will give those details to the guests. So it's a really good portal, although it can sometimes cause you a little more problems, a few more problems in the operating side of things. Pros again, if you have any issues with guests, like I've mentioned, you can get in touch with Airbnb 24/7 and they will help you with any guest damage. If you've got problem guests in your property, they will intervene and they hold a deposit for the guest as well. So if you have got guest damage and you involve Airbnb, they will pay that damage for you. And you don't have the issue with chargebacks like you can do with the likes of booking.com. So they collect all the guest funds directly from them and send it straight through to you. So you don't have any issues with unpaid bookings and you don't have any chargebacks from Airbnb as well. But the cons really do come down to the communication with guests if they do want to speak to you over the phone, because it can be a little more difficult. So the main things when you're listing with Airbnb to start with is, like I mentioned, that you do have to identify yourself. So if you are registering in a company name, you need to identify the company and not the individual. So you just need to make sure when you are setting up your account, if you're setting it up for a company, you have got utility bills, council tax, rent statements that you can use to identify yourself through that platform. So with Airbnb, we really love listing on it as Diamond because it's a really friendly platform, and we like the ethos that Airbnb as a company have got. Ways to make best use of that when you're listing. You want to make your listing description very friendly as well. So it's a cosy apartment, it's a superb apartment in the centre of Manchester. Be really descriptive with your wording and make sure that your top photo, if you're using a channel manager, make sure that the number one photo that you've got is actually of the bedroom itself, because most people will decide whether to buy or not through the actual picture of the bedroom, because let's face it, that's where you're going to sleep. So if you make sure that your pictures are really, really high quality and that you put your bedrooms first and be really descriptive in your description, and then it will really attract people to your property, as opposed to some other maybe one-man bands that only have a spare room that they've put on there. You will only find usually they've only got 2 or 3 photos. So the more photos you've got, the better quality that they are is going to make sure that you get bigger bookings through Airbnb. It asks you what amenities you've got. Please tick everything that you've got, because it may be that it's not a big deal for you if there's a hairdryer in the apartment, but for that woman who's travelling somewhere for business, it's one less thing that she's got to travel with and got to carry. So if you make sure that you select absolutely everything that you have, available in the apartment, it will make a difference to somebody. Obviously, be very careful not to tick something that you haven't got, because that will cause you issues down the road. But yes, if you can be as descriptive as possible, even when you're ticking the amenities, it really will help your listing in the long run. So when you're registering for Airbnb, it's important to note that most guests, when they book through Airbnb, will expect there's someone there to meet them. Now at Diamond, we do operate self-check-in across our whole portfolio, whether it's in Glasgow, Arbroath, or down in Bournemouth. So it's really important that somewhere in your listing, be it in your description or when you message your guests, that you tell them how they will check in and what that will look like. Now, we use our channel manager to send out automatic information, so we have that all in there. But if you're not at a point where you're using a channel manager, you need to make sure that you're giving your guests as much information as you possibly can, because it will help the reviews, and the better reviews that you've got on Airbnb, the more bookings you're likely to get. So at Diamond, Airbnb accounts for between 8 and 12% of our bookings, depending on what month it is. So there are bigger channels out there, but like I've mentioned, the bookings that you get from Airbnb are usually more substantial in both value and in length of stay. So it's definitely worthwhile you being on there, but it's really important that your information is accurate, up to date, and you give as much information to your guests as you possibly can. So as you may be aware, there are lots and lots of different online travel agencies that you can list your property on, and they all have their own pros and cons, and they all attract their own market. So for example, booking.com, you do get a lot of business travellers because it's people on the move. It's easy for them to book through their phone. They can book on there with like a couple of clicks. So you get a lot of business travellers from there. With Airbnb, you get more people coming in for social visits and that are wanting to travel for the vacation industry, because that's what it's been aimed at, and that's what their ethos is. So although it doesn't account for 50-60% of your bookings, it is definitely worthwhile that you list on there, and we will always list on Airbnb. Be it their philosophy and the way that they help you with guests and the way that they help guests themselves, it does let you tap into a different market, and it's a market that you wouldn't usually attract bookings from, because there's a lot of people that will solely use Airbnb when they're looking for travel. So it's definitely worthwhile taking that time and getting your listing right and getting listed on Airbnb.
Wow, thank you, Samantha. Absolutely fabulous top tips there. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I love watching to it, and I've been doing this for years, absolutely years. I've picked up plenty of stuff there. Everything from the descriptions that you need to use, the facilities, the amenities, the number one picture. What should the number one picture set be? Samantha says should be the bedroom. That's what, because you're on the internet. We're getting increasingly lazy. Studies recently proved that the average human has now got a smaller attention span than a goldfish, which I think says it all. So you got 2 seconds when they hit your listing to either get them to stay and look and be more interested, or they're gone. They're gone. And the second picture won't even load within the 2 seconds. So the first picture is the only important picture. So anyway, thank you, Samantha. Samantha from Diamond Serviced Apartments. So what I'm going to cover now is 3 specific secrets that are going to help turbocharge your journey direct to being a world-class service accommodation operator using Airbnb. So here we go. Number 1, I'm going to give you the basics of setting up your Airbnb listing, because obviously you can't do this unless you're on Airbnb. So I want to get you started nice and quick. How do I get on Airbnb, Paul? What are the do's and don'ts? And have you got a guide that I can maybe get? Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Number 2, minimising your booking fees, because every pound that you don't pay to somebody else is another pound in your pocket. And obviously, it's free to list on all these different advertising sites, but they've all got different ways of charging you money. So I'm going to give you some top tips as to how you make sure you minimise your costs. And then finally, you want to maximise your profit. And obviously, minimising your costs is going to play a part in maximising your profit, but it's a load more things that you need to do. So I hope, again, you're sitting up, you're paying attention, your eyes are open, your ears are open, and you're making lots of notes, because the more notes you make, the clearer you're going to be about whether this opportunity is right for you and what you're going to do about it. Okay, so here is the first secret. How to set up an Airbnb account, a 4-page, simple to follow guide. Now, if you want it, I'm going to give it to you as a present. So all you need to do is go to that link there. I'll put it in the chat box. It's quite a long link. So it's http://bit.ly/download Airbnb. So it's most browsers you can just start with bit.ly/download Airbnb. It's just if you've got really high security settings, you need to put the HTTP piece in. So most of you can go get that account really easily, really simply. And if you're struggling or you can't get the technology to work, just put something in the chat box and we'll work something out, because I want to get you reading through, because you can download that right now. You can set up your account right now. So within 20-25 minutes of finishing this webinar, you can have a live Airbnb listing taking actual inquiries or maybe even bookings. You can set it straight for bookings if you want. So I'm not going to go through it's a 4-page guide with 20 different paragraphs in it. So I'm not going to go through all of that, but what I'm going to do is give you the most important things. Now, Samantha's already said this, and I would say the same thing. Really top quality photography and dressing. So, it doesn't need to be £1,000 to get your apartment photographed, but if don't use your iPhone, make sure you get a professional photographer in there. But the professional photographer we use, we get them to do a few properties at a time in the same area, and it tends to cost us 40 or 50 quid to get an apartment professionally photographed. But then on top of that, don't assume that the poor old photographer can go and do all the dressing as well. You're going to need to give them some assistance. Maybe you can do that, because you see the sort of stuff that we're using, herbs, fruit, muffins, croissants, bottle of wine, that sort of thing. So you can help make it look homely, and you can work with the photographer. But the photographer's not going to do that on their own. If you just send them in, say, take pictures, that's what they're going to do. So you can see here on the right-hand side, that is a bare room. Now you put that on Airbnb, good luck. That, however, is the same room from a different angle, professionally dressed. You see that's a hell of a difference? So it's obviously, this is just a little studio. So it's got a bed, then it's got a settee, and then you've got a kitchenette over the far side. But I'll just go back to that picture again. Look, because that's what it looked like before we moved in and did the dressing and set it all up. To that. What else can you notice? There, it's dark outside, isn't it? Never a good idea. Here, sunshine. So, but even then, you got the lights on. So there's just some basics that a decent photographer is going to make sure that you got right in terms of the lighting and whatever else. What else is different about that picture? There on the left-hand side, you can just about see the coffee table. There, you got the coffee table, but it's got some flowers on it. So, just little tiny touches. Good luck with that. You'll be fine with that. Okay, so I hope that explains that. Next up, your cancellation policy. So we can give you technical advice on how to set up your Airbnb account, or indeed any other account. But your cancellation policy really needs to be yours. So you need to read through that and decide. So are you going to be, this is what Airbnb calls them, moderate, strict, super strict? So in other words, is there going to be no cancellations, no refunds, no nothing? Or are you going to let them cancel, say, 14 days ahead? You need to think these things through, because if it's super strict and there's a lot of competition in your area and people can easily get moderate or strict, then you're going to lose out on bookings. But conversely, if there hardly is any availability, because which is most of the country, why not go super strict? I'll give you a different reason to go super strict in the next few slides. But that would mean that even if the guests change their mind, you got all the money. Now, is that wrong? I don't think so. How many of us have bought a ticket from EasyJet or something that's non-refundable? How many of us have booked a holiday or a hotel room that's non-refundable? As long as you're clear that that's your policy, then I think that's fine. But I don't want to dictate that. I think you need to experiment and you need to decide what works best, and you need to see what other competitors, what other Airbnb hosts in your area are doing. Now, when you set up your Airbnb account, make sure you enable the co-host functionality. This does several things. It alerts other hosts or other potential hosts to the potential that you could manage their properties for them. So People will bring you properties and say, oh, I see you're a co-host, can you manage my property for me? And obviously you get fees for that. You can charge them money for doing that. But the other reason is that if you come up as a co-host, it gives you a lot more credibility with users. Oh, this person is a co-host. That's good. So you're more likely to get more bookings. Amenities. Samantha touched on it. So what's an amenity? Well, it could be something like Samantha said. It could be a hairdryer. But you could put in one of these Nespresso machines that are not very much money, and that could get you extra bookings. A friend of mine out in the countryside, he's got 6 or 7 holiday cottages. So he put a piece of decking in and he put a hot tub on it. One of these outdoor jacuzzi things. So, I'm not saying go mad and spend 6-7 grand like he did on an outdoor jacuzzi, but if you've got a block of 6 or 7, I think seriously think about that kind of level of investment, because it will make a big, big, big difference to the level of bookings that you get. And finally, pets. Do you take pets? Now, many people are going to say, almost everyone, as soon as I ask that question, is either no or yeah, of course. And that depends whether you've got dogs yourself or not. But I'll tell you this, whether you're a dog lover or not, if there's no one else in your area accepting pets, you will clean up if you say, I'll take pets. Because people that want to take their pet want to take their pet, and it's the first thing that they will search by. But there's no problem charging extra money for the pet, and there's no problem charging an extra cleaning fee for the pet. So you can make even more money and be full up all the time. So I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. I'm just saying these are some of the things that you need to think about that we can't necessarily put in the technical how to set it up guide. Because yeah, there's a button that says, do you take pets or not? Should you click it or not? Well, I don't know. Depends on what you want to do. So I hope that is helpful. So here's my friend Steve Rice. So Steve came on the Serviced Accommodation Masterclass a few years ago now. Doesn't matter when. We taught him how to set up an Airbnb account. And this is what happened over the following weekend. Inquiry, Airbnb, you can see that top left, £1,723. Inquiry, Airbnb, £2,297. It's just for one property. Inquiry, £5,171. So within just 2 days, this is for a property in Bournemouth, he had almost £10,000 worth of inquiries. Absolutely incredible. So if you're thinking, oh yeah, but how quick is it? Can I do it? Yes, you can. He'd never done it before. He had never, ever done it before. Now it's his main strategy. And that is £9,000 plus worth of inquiries and bookings within 48 hours. So if you like the idea of that kind of traction, that kind of speed, we want to work with you. So I'm moving on to the second secret now. What's the second secret? How do you minimize your booking fees? Because obviously the more pennies you can keep in your pocket, the sharper your pencil is, the more profit you're going to make. And that's all good, isn't it? So what to be aware of on Airbnb is your cancellation policy directly impacts your admin fee. So the guests pay a reservation fee, not you, but then you pay an admin fee, which is to cover Airbnb taking the money and getting the booking. Now, think this one through. The stricter your cancellation policy, so if it's super strict and there's no refunds, they will charge you the minimum admin fee. The more relaxed your cancellation policy, the bigger your admin fee. Why is that? Well, of course, if you're giving people the chance to cancel, they might cancel. So Airbnb do all this work, the guest cancels, and not only do they get no money because they got no commission, they got to do all the work of taking the money and then giving it back to the guest again. So if you want to minimize your costs with Airbnb, you want super strict policy. On the other hand, if your view is, well, okay, I don't mind paying an extra few percent because I'm going to get more bookings, well, that's something you need to experiment with, and that's something you need to be clear about. But if you're trying to minimize costs, you want a super strict cancellation policy. Repeat guests. Why will repeat guests save you money? Well, once a guest has been to stay with you, especially if you've done meet and greet, you've obviously got their contact details. So if you want to then say to them, well, if you want to come back and stay with us, we can give you a better rate. You can, because they're not going through some sort of booking engine that's going to charge you fees. So you can afford to give repeat guests a discount. And that, of course, is why Airbnb are so protective about the guest details. Because if they give you the guest details, you can go and get a direct booking before the guest is even booked. So that means Airbnb would get nothing, which wouldn't be a very good business model. So, but what you can do is take advantage of the opportunity to get repeat guests to book directly with you. So direct bookings. Direct bookings are obviously great, but that doesn't have to be the same as a repeat guest. So it could be a repeat guest, of course, but it could be a referral from a repeat guest. It could be as a result of some direct marketing that you've done to some local company or, I don't know, a hospital or an airport. So there's lots of different ways of getting direct bookings, which are going to minimise your cost. So in addition to setting up an Airbnb account, I would strongly suggest that you have a Facebook business page for your property or properties. So, Diamond Serviced Accommodation Facebook, or XYZ or Home Sweet Home Facebook page, whatever it is, whatever your company name is, have a Facebook business page and then do Facebook advertising. Tiny, tiny, tiny amounts of money can bring you huge direct bookings. Huge. So if it's not really your thing, and we're not sort of covering it on the webinar today, I do webinars about how to do this, but just go and find someone, typically a younger person. I'm 53, by the way, but even I can do this. Go and find someone that's a little bit kind of Facebook savvy. So perhaps a son, a daughter, a cousin, a nephew, someone that just does this, and get them to help you to set up a Facebook business page, and then spend. When I say spend some money on Facebook advertising, I'm talking, £5 a day or something. I'm not talking 500 quid a week or anything like that to begin with. I'm just talking about a very, very modest, perhaps £100 a month budget or something, and just play with it. But the best way that you can minimise your costs is asking guests to give you a referral. So if they've stayed, they've left you a great review, they clearly love you, then get them to refer you to their friends and family. And the final secret that I'm going to share with you, so I hope you're finding this useful, by the way. Give me some noise in the chat box if this is good stuff. So, okay, perfect. Good. We've got a lot of people on the call today, which is great. So I love a bit of interaction in the chat box. I am going to be sticking around at the end to do a sort of Q&A, but I've promised to get this finished in the next sort of 20 minutes or so. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to crash on. I'm going to keep talking. But I've got one more video playing. So I've managed to answer a few of the questions during the two first videos. I've got one more video coming up for you. So I'll try and do a few more typey, and then I'll officially end the webinar, and then we can do a proper Q&A where you can just ask me questions and I can tell you the answer, as opposed to having to type the answer, which takes me a long time. So where we're going next, you could argue this is almost the most important. So if you've liked what you've heard so far, good. Now you need to super concentrate, because I'm now going to tell you how to maximize your profit. What is it you need to do to maximize your profit? People mistakenly charge flat rates for their property. Do not do that. Make sure that you're adding extra money for each extra person that comes in. So base price for one person, then an extra for 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So an extra charge for each person. I've got some examples to show you what massive difference that makes. Focus hard on your review scores. So with Airbnb, it's a 1 to 5 range. And study after study shows that if you can move it from a 3 to a 4, you can charge 11% more money. If you can move it from a 4 to a 5, you can charge 11% more money. So the same apartment, but with care and attention on management of the review scores, if you go from an average of 3 to 5, you can get 22% more money for exactly the same apartment. So why wouldn't you do that? It's called a serviced apartment. In other words, service is important. So provide the service, get the review scores, and charge the extra money. I want to make sure you price for optimal profit. Now, what do I mean about that? So let's take it one step at a time. I want you to price for optimal profit. So I don't want you to try and put some ridiculous night price on there, but neither do I want you to be cheap and cheerful. I've got some rules for you as how to get optimal profit. So we use software for price automation. So just like if you're buying a ticket on EasyJet, what's the price on EasyJet? Well, it depends how far advanced you book, depends how busy they are. So we use a thing called Kigo, K-I-G-O, kigo.net. So you might want to go and take a look at that. So it automatically changes the prices down if we're not busy and up if we are busy. So we've got EasyJet type software that modulates, changes the base price of our apartment. Now, in addition to that, you want to charge extra money per person. You want to maybe be thinking about minimum night stay. Why is that? Well, if you've got minimum night stay of one night and you get 7 people come and stay for one night in a week, You've got 7 lots of cleaning, 7 lots of laundry, yada, yada, yada. On the other hand, if you get one person come say the entire 7 nights, you just divided your laundry costs and your cleaning costs by a factor of 7, yeah? And then make sure you charge for extras. So I'll give you a feel for what I mean by extras very, very shortly. But here's a practical, some practical examples. So here's a case study relating to price per person. So this is one of our properties. It's called McLachlan House. Now, I know the numbers are a little bit small there, but what the software was doing, if you can see at the top there, is £104, £105, £95, £92. It brought it down to £90 to get a booking. So it was floating about, and we finally got a booking for that particular property for £90. But you can see second person fee, third person, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. It was a booking for 7 people. So it charged them an extra £27 per person per night, which gave us a total amount for 5 nights. It was 2 adults and 5 children. You can see that in the top left. A total amount of £1,296 for 5 nights. Now, to give you a feel for everybody, that entire house as a buy-to-let, we've had it for years. We used to rent it out for the entire month for 750 quid. So this is like 2 months rent in 5 days. This is incredible cash. This is massive return. So the 7 people for 5 nights, the base price got adjusted down to 486 quid, and the revenue manager did that, okay? But the value of the extra people, if we hadn't had the extra people, we would just have got the 486 quid. But because we've got it set to give us an extra £27 per person per night, we created an extra £810 worth of value just in 5 days or 5 nights. So the total booking came to 1296, which is still an average. If you take it per person per night, it's only 37 quid. So it's still not expensive. It's still very good value, but you can see what a massive difference that makes. It's like 3 times more roughly, or in fact, there's the proper numbers. So 100% occupancy, if you did it for the whole month, the effect it would have for over the 30 days is it would shift from 486 just for 5 nights. So imagine that was for 30 nights, that would take you to 2916. But if you add the extra person charge on, that takes it to 7776, or 267% more. So you can't not do this. I hope I'm convincing you on that. So now let's have a look at a different one. This is a minimum night stay. So this is just a room. It's an ensuite room in what used to be an HMO. So there's 5 ensuite rooms in this serviced, what used to be HMO. So look what happened this time. So 2 nights, £40 each. But because it's a returning direct booking, we've given a special discount of 8%. So we offer an 8% direct booking discount. So 2 nights, £73 and 50p. So not a big exciting booking. So 1 person for 2 nights, price per night 40 quid, returning client, direct booking, 8% discount. So at 100% occupancy, 1 person for 1 night would give you 1,200 quid. So that's 30 times 40, which is £240 profit. Well, that's still okay for a room, £240. I mean, many people don't get that for an entire buy-to-let. But this is just for a room in an HMO. But if we then change the rules within Airbnb and all the other different things you might be advertised on to minimum stay of 2 nights, well, you still get the same £1,200 revenue. Yeah, everyone following me? Hope so. But now you make 600 quid profit because you're only doing half the cleaning and half the laundry. So look how dramatic that is. 240 quid becomes 600 quid for a room, 5 rooms, £3,000. So if you like the idea, so make some noise in that box if you like the idea of £3,000 from an HMO. I mean, it's not bad, is it? And this is an HMO in the north of England. This isn't in the middle of, this isn't Zone 1. This is in Doncaster in South Yorkshire, which much though I love, nothing wrong with Doncaster, it's fine, but property prices up there, they're not expensive. So you're talking about relatively modestly priced properties giving you thousands and thousands of pounds per month as a return. So the cleaning and laundry savings in that particular example give you an uplift of 150%. So what's the extras you were talking about, Paul? Well, you can sell services. We use a thing called a You're Welcome tablet. You want to write that down. You're Welcome. Go check them out on the internet. So we sell late checkouts, we sell extra cleaning, and we sell other essentials. We also allow them to order off Just Eat through the You're Welcome tablet, or maybe order tickets to Legoland, or whatever the local attraction is. And every time they order something like a taxi or a theatre ticket or something, we get extra money. We get a cut. So we upsell via our channel manager, Kigo. And I know I'm using a lot of words here that you're probably not familiar with, but it's all automated. So Keygo talks to everything. Keygo is the core backbone system that runs everything. So we sell early check-ins for 40 quid. We sell late checkouts for 20 quid. Pets, we charge £10 a night. We also offer specials like, Valentine's Day or, whatever, anniversary, birthday. We offer laundry services and we offer shopping services. You can get extra money for selling all these things. So it's not just a question of setting up an Airbnb account, bung your flat on Airbnb and that's it. Jobs are good and done. You need to think some of these things through if you want to make it a proper business earning you lots of money. There's many, many more. But I hope I've given you enough so that you've got a feel for it. So in terms of what you've discovered so far, I hope you find it's been useful and time well spent. What would you say about that? Just give me something in the question box. Let me know what you're thinking. Okay, perfect, good, thank you, very kind. So yeah, I am glad that you are enjoying this. Now obviously, I can't cover everything that you need in an hour's webinar or even about a whole day. I actually need to spend a good few days with you to make sure that you understand how to maximise the money that you're going to make from serviced apartments, and we focused heavily today on Airbnb. So you'll be thrilled to know that if you want to take it to the next step, now that you've accessed this top secret insider information and you want to learn more about Airbnb and service accommodation in general, I can give you a pile of stuff about, you've probably heard about this anti-landlord legislation where they're trying to tax the hell out of landlords. It doesn't apply to serviced apartments, and I'll show you why, and I'll give you a load of tax breaks. I want to spend time with you to show you to set up your first serviced apartment, how to get 7 different ways to get property, including, for example, rent to rent or managing for other people. How to get extra cash flow fast, and a detailed plan to reduce your tax bill often to zero, including your PAYE job. So if that's the sort of way that you want to go, then I need to give you far, far, far more details on our diamond system. This is why we call it diamond serviced apartments. I need to teach you how to discover where and when to put these serviced apartments, how to interrogate the systems, make sure it's in the right place, how to acquire them, often with none of your own money, how to do the marketing, because obviously you could have the best apartment in the best place, you've done the best research. If you don't market it, no one's going to know it's there if you have any customers. Operations, how do you take the money? How do you organise the cleaners? It's not hard, but you need a system for it, otherwise you're going to turn it into another job for you. It might be a very well paid job, but you might sack the boss, stop earning 20, 30 grand a year, start earning 70, 80 grand a year, but it's still a job. So I want you to have a business, not a job. I want you to have a thing that gives you money automatically. You need to know the numbers so that someone can manage the business for you. What are your important key performance indicators? And finally, how do you duplicate? Because you're probably not going to get financially free on one serviced apartment that's giving you £1,000 a month. The average, by the way, the average serviced apartment across the average part of the UK will give you £1,000 a month after all costs, full stop. So if you want 5 grand a month, you probably need 5. If you want 10 grand a month, you probably need 10. If you want 50 grand a month, you probably need 50. So duplicate. You're not going to be financially free. You won't have a business if you've only got one serviced apartment. So permit me, if you don't mind, can I ask you a question? Is that all right? How would you like to work directly with me and my team to help you start, run and grow your service accommodation business? Now, I said probably 50 minutes ago that when somebody gives you an opportunity to do something life-changing, Richard Branson says, you need to say yes and work out everything else afterwards. So I want you to say yes. I want you to say yes to a new future. I want you to say yes to a legacy for you and your loved ones. I want you to say yes if you want your life to be dramatically different this time next year or this 6 months from now. So bear with me. I've got another 10, 15 minutes, then I'm going to go to Q&A. But I want to share with you now what it looks like if you say yes to this opportunity. Come and join me for 2 days on the Serviced Accommodation Masterclass. You can get started right here, right now. 5 minutes from now, 6 minutes from now, I'm going to be putting up a little box. It's going to appear on the sort of halfway down the right-hand side of your screen, and it will say join now. So as soon as you see it appear, just click on it and it will take you through so that you can grab your place on the Masterclass. Now, we do this in 3 different places. Doncaster is where our HQ is. I showed you some pictures of that earlier on. Now, if we're in Doncaster, it means we're not in a hotel, which means I can give you some benefits. So here's the benefits I can give you, because the costs for us of delivering the Service Accommodation Masterclass for you are a lot lower. So that means we can offer you 1 night in one of our serviced accommodation units. So we can give you almost free accommodation. we've got to make a nominal £1.50 charge, otherwise you won't be able to leave a review. You've actually got to pay to stay in the accommodation. You can't just stay in it. You need to pay to stay in it, otherwise we can't get us a review. So we're happy to give it to you on us because of the lower cost. So we're going to give you a free night's accommodation, obviously subject to availability. Now, we run at least 2 courses. The demand is massive. So don't miss out. Make sure you jump on the very first available date. So all you need to do when the link appears is bag your place. Then the team will call you and they'll agree a date that suits you. And now you want to do it sooner rather than later. There's 2 courses minimum every month, but demand is so crazy sometimes that we have to put 3 on. So there's minimum twice a month. You can come to Doncaster, come and see our offices. But the other reason I like having you there is you can actually meet our team. You can meet Samantha. You can meet the people that actually do the stuff. You can talk to them. You can get their help to help you set up your listings. So coming to Doncaster is better for all sorts of reasons. You can come and stay in one of our SA units for just £1.50. Please leave us a review. We also do this very, very same thing in London and Glasgow, but we don't have the same number of units in London or Glasgow. So unfortunately, if it suits you to come and do the training with us in London or Glasgow, by all means do. It will be in a hotel. It won't be at our actual offices. So we can't give you this £1.50 night's accommodation. You have to stay with us overnight because the whole group goes out for dinner together. So that's all included. So you'll get 2 full days of training plus dinner with us, and you get to quiz the experts. We always have 4, 5, 6 service accommodation experts in the room. So other service accommodation operators that have been through this masterclass the last 1, 2, 3 years ago and are doing fantastic things. And they like to come back. They like to share their learnings with the group, and their brains are available for picking. They're there to network with you. They're there to help you set up your SA business. You've got 2 very full days working with the experts, regardless of the location. So please make sure you stay overnight, and please make sure you come out for dinner. But I appreciate it's not for everybody. If you've sat through and you very kindly spent your time listening to me for the last almost hour now on this webinar, and you're thinking, well, do you know what? I'm actually happy doing what I'm doing. Good. I know not everybody wants to change their life, and I'm delighted that you're happy. But if, like the vast majority of your population, you do want something different, then it is for you. And I put this slide in every presentation I ever do. The person who says it cannot be done should not interrupt the person doing it. Almost all of us in our lives have got someone, a little voice back of the brain, could be a brother, sister, might even be married to them. Oh, what are you doing that for? Don't be daft, that's never going to work. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. All of these, closet Socrates type people that have got the entire wisdom of the world at their fingertips. Well, that's fine. Because if you've got people in your life that saying it can't be done, you need to come and see us, because we can prove to you, we can show you, we can prove that you can do it. It's not about you, it's about following the simple systems that we will give you. So here is our requirement of you, and it's very simple. You need to have made a decision to take this incredible offer that I'm about to make you. I've shown you the website price, $2,997. I'm going to give you an incredible price, and I'm going to give you some extra bonuses to go with it. So my requirement of you is that when I give you the opportunity to take action, because I know you're an action taker because you're here on the webinar already. So my requirement of you is that you take this chance to change your life. This is what the Service Department Masterclass is going to do for you. So you might want to take a picture of this screen. There's a lot of information on it. It's going to give you the detail that you need, including owning and setting up your own business. I realise not everybody will have set up a limited company or a limited liability partnership. I will show you how to do that. I will give you your ideal business structure. It's a sophisticated but stress-tested and bomb-proof business structure that I want you to adopt. I want to share with you our black book of advisors and contacts. I want to give you the detail per property of how much extra money you can make. I'm going to give you all the systems so by the end of the 2 days, you can work out exactly to the pound how much extra money you can make. I'm going to give you all the hands-free systems you'll ever need. So yes, you've got to do some work to put the systems in, but once you've done them, you don't ever have to work again a day in your life. The systems, the staff will do it for you. I want to make sure you do this in a very safe way. I want to make sure you follow every law. I want to make sure you're properly insured. I want to make sure everything that you do is absolutely bomb-proof, total compliance. I'm going to show you to set up a leveraged and outsourced business. legitimately claim your pre-tax expenses, including this course. The cost of this course can be set against tax. So if you're a 20% taxpayer, you save 20%. If you're a 40% taxpayer, you save 40%. I can also show you how to reclaim the VAT. And I want to show you to set up your pension, because so many people just head in the sand with regard to pension. And finally, to build your legacy. So to be very clear, I need you to take advantage of the offer. I need you to be an action taker. I need you to take this chance. Could be you're one decision away from a totally different life. So I want you to take the action that I'm going to offer you the opportunity to take very, very shortly. So this is not for you if you're too busy. This is not for you if you don't think you can do it. But if you think you can do it, if you've decided to do it, it is absolutely for you. So if you want to do this specific example, this is a 2-bedroom flat in Manchester. Look at the pictures and look at these numbers. This is a 2-bedroom flat in Manchester. Buy-to-let rent, £725, okay? Not huge. Buy-to-let profit, £115. The average night rate for that unit on Airbnb is £199. Insane. The occupancy level, I've just picked a random month, June 2017, 73%. The revenue that provided was £4,384. So the profit, that's the turnover, 4,000. The profit on that was £2,983. One 2-bedroom flat earning twice the national average wage. So you could have a 2-bedroom flat in Manchester that you might even not own, you might rent it, and it's the same as having 2 people work full-time for you forever. So over 2 years, buy-to-let cash flow in a single month. All done completely, 100%, totally hands-free. You are one decision away from being able to have 1 or more units like that. So if you want to do this, I want to work with you. It's specifically for you if you like the idea of making huge amounts of cash, very often tax-free, and I need you for 2 days on the masterclass so I can show you how that all happens. So here's how we'll do it. You'll get the exact systems that we use in our own service accommodation business. So you'll get years of experience built into the 2 days. I'm going to give you the 2 days face-to-face in-person training with me, okay? So that is going to be absolutely fantastic value for you. In-person training, 2 days plus dinner in the evening time. Secure your spot today. You already know it's Doncaster, £1.50 accommodation, London and Glasgow, and you know why that's the case. I'm going to give you the service accommodation systems blueprints. We spent more than £23,000 delivering these systems, so I'm going to put a notional value on them of £997. But you sign up today, I'm going to give them to you. So there's one invoice that we paid for just one person to help us develop those systems, £20,160. Now this is your last chance to get this. Up until now, every single person that's gone through the Service Accommodation Masterclass has been put into this private Facebook group with bank directors, accountants, builders, QSs, VAT auditors, all the people that have been through the masterclass. And you can imagine what a powerful support network that is. That's why it's membership access and ongoing support. This is your very last chance today to claim this offer. Early in 2018, you'll still be able to get in, but it'll be a monthly fee. And it will be £100 a month. So that's £1,200 a year. So if you want to take advantage and grab your ticket today, that's going to save you £1,200 a year forever, because you don't want to be in service accommodation without that level of support. So it's your last chance to get into this group. So what you're going to get? You're going to get the 2 days face-to-face masterclass training. You're going to get the systems blueprints, the exact same ones that cost us £20,000, £23,000. And you're going to get the last chance to get in for free. You'll always have the chance. Everyone will always have the chance, but it'll be £100 a month. So the total value of what I've offered you so far, £5,194. I'm going to pay you a last short video, and this is people that have actually done the masterclass. So we actually recorded them and said, you know, if you're going to talk to somebody that hasn't done the masterclass and they're worried about, you know, should I do it, should I not do it, what would you say to them?
I had one service accommodation already, which wasn't doing very well at all.
I've been a property investor since '96.
I was a detective in the police force for 23 years.
My background is in project management in the city.
I have a development company.
I'm a business owner. I have my business now for about 20 years.
We run service accommodation down in Plymouth and also HMOs, and we do commercial conversions as well.
I first heard about Masterclass after a progressive property networking event.
I've heard of Paul's masterclass. I've listened to some webinars before.
I needed a lot of guidance, being completely new both to property and service accommodation.
The opportunity excited me and something I knew I could get into.
I just thought, oh, can't really afford to do it. And then it got to the stage where I couldn't afford not to do it.
One of the things I wanted was more cash flow, and that's when I thought about the service accommodation, because I'd listened to a few webinars by Paul Smith.
I wanted to understand exactly how to run a kind of a hands-free business, how that would actually work, and that's what interested me the most about the masterclass.
Main benefit to attending the masterclass would have been real clarity.
It gives you all the templates, all the checklists, all the information you need to know to keep on the right side of the law and to keep compliant.
I felt it gave me that knowledge to give me the confidence to go forward and actually put things into action.
They completely opened my eyes and my mind to to an opportunity I didn't know existed.
The information from Masterclass was so informative, and it was also the supportive element of it.
It is a group of like-minded people. There's a high level of energy in the room. We keep each other focused, and I am pretty sure that it expedites results.
I launched the 4 apartments in September.
We've increased the cash flow of the business massively.
And once I was up and running with Airbnb and Booking.com, really went amazing.
I am just about to go live with 4 service accommodation units.
My property business actually gone into 6 figures.
There's another 15 to follow in the next couple of years, which will change my financial future completely.
It's proved already within a couple of months things are starting to get better.
I would never have believed in April of last year that I could have progressed this much in such a short span of time.
And to say without being rude, but it's the kick up the arse that you need.
So I think the investment is absolutely worth it, and it will allow you to actually build a scalable service accommodation business that you can actually have for the rest of your life.
And there you go, some absolutely lovely, wonderful people, all different backgrounds. You can see all different ages. It doesn't matter where you're from or who you are or where you're starting from. We know this works because we've done this with more than 2,000 people now. This is the course. If you're interested in service accommodation, this is the biggest, the best, the longest running, the one that most people have been through. So you want to come and join our community, I want to give you some extra bonuses. What Mo was talking about there was all the documents and the checklists and the templates. He loves all that. So every diamond step in detail. We'll give you the complete fill in the blanks document library, but that's just for the first 30 people. I've got hundreds and hundreds of people here today on this webinar. So make sure you're one of the first 30. Go for it. In the next 2-3 minutes, I'm going to be putting up the link that you can just go for it. I'm going to give you the contract library as well. Terms and conditions. This is a guest coming in. Management agreements will allow you to manage other people's properties so that you don't have to buy them. And joint venture agreements. But again, this is for the first 30 people because I want to really work with action takers. So the first 30 of you, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people are on here. Make sure you go and do it right here and right now. So one more time, you're going to get the face-to-face training. You're going to get the systems blueprints. It's your last chance to get that free membership access. I'm going to start charging for it very, very soon. I'm going to give you the swipe and deploy vault, all the documents and all the checklists and the contract library. So that's a total value of £8,499. Now, if you only cash flow £1,000 a month forever, would it be worth it? Well, of course it would. £1,000 a month in exchange for £8,000, of course it's going to be worth it. I'm not going to charge you anything like £8,000. £5,000 a month, would it be worth it? Of course. For total financial freedom, of course. What's your future worth to you? 5, 10, 25 grand a month? I don't know. You put a number on it. How much would you pay to get good education for your children, healthcare for your family, freedom to travel all year? That's what my family does. I just lose count of the amount of times that I'm away with the kids now, and they love it and I love it. Brings us much closer together as a family. Okay, you're 1 click away, so I need the first 30 people to get ready to go and do this. So you can see why 2 whole days are a great deal at 8499. And you're one deal away from this per month. So Service Accommodation Masterclass, 2 days, face-to-face, is just 2997 plus the VAT. And as a special thank you for taking action and spending time on this webinar with me today, I'm going to give you a super special opportunity to invest in yourself. So instead of the website price of 2997 plus VAT, that's the publicly available price, because you're on the inside, because you've come and spent time, because you've learnt, because you've placed a value on your education, I want to give you a reward. And here's your reward. You can get started now for just 1995 plus VAT. So 1995 plus VAT, that's just less than £2,400, including the VAT. And I'll talk to you very shortly about how you get that VAT back and how you make this a pre-tax expense. So if you're a 20% taxpayer, if you're a 40% taxpayer, if you're a 45% taxpayer, that's the amount of tax you're going to save on this. But more of that in a second. To recap, you're going to get the 2 days Service Accommodation Masterclass training, face-to-face with Service Accommodation experts. You're going to get to go out for dinner in the evening with those experts and with your fellow group members, and that's all included in the price. I'm going to give you the Service Accommodation Systems blueprints. I'm going to give you the membership access and the ongoing support, but be careful, this is your last chance. We're going to start charging for people for this very, very soon. I'm going to give you the swipe and deploy vault of all the checklists, of all the inspections that we get the housekeepers to do, how to set up the property. I'm also going to give you the contract library. All of these things have cost me a fortune. They've cost me a huge amount of money, and you're going to get them if you just make that simple 1995 plus VAT investment in yourself. So the total value of all that is 8499, and you can get the whole thing for 1995 plus VAT, but I've got some options for you. If you'd love to do it, but you can't afford the 1995 plus the VAT, which is just short of 2,400, how about this? I promise you this at the start, a brand new payment plan. You can get started now, today, for just 247, and that includes the VAT. Because we've now got a finance partner, you can apply for finance with them. Very, very simple process. This is a refundable deposit. So if you change your mind or you decide not to go ahead with the finance, well, you get that back. So it's not even 250 quid to change your life. I can't make it any simpler, any more affordable, any more easy for you to change your life using Service Accommodation. You can enjoy the course and the bonuses ASAP. As soon as you're approved for finance, you can come and do the course tomorrow, if there's a course tomorrow. We've got several courses a month. So within just days or weeks, you could be on a Service Accommodation Masterclass. Now, I've done an illustration here. You pay the 247, you get the finance, and you decide to spread it over 12 months. You could spread it over 6, you choose. But if you spread it over 12 months, the payments would be just £178.92. Now that includes the VAT. We can show you how to get the VAT back. We can show you how to make it a pre-tax expense. So by the time you've got the VAT back, that's going to knock off 34 quid. So it's going to be 154 and a few pence. And if you're a 20% taxpayer, so let's say it was 150 quid, you're going to be able to claim back. You're not going to pay tax on that £150 a month. So that means you're going to save a further 30 quid. So the real cost to you is more like £120 a month. And if you're a 40% taxpayer, it's not even 120 quid. And if you're a 45% taxpayer, you probably don't care anyway, but it's less than 100 quid by the time you've actually claimed your tax back. So this is 0% APR. So why wouldn't you do this? Take advantage of this crazy offer that we're making you. 0% APR up to a year, £247 deposit, including the VAT. Now you've got two choices. Here's the first option. Don't do anything. Don't take this life-changing chance, which is 100% risk-free. And the second option is make this do it. Act now. You are one decision away from a different life. Make this small investment today compared to all the value you're going to get in return, and just give it a shot. If it works, great. If not, Just ask for your money back and I'll give it to you. Get started now. Click on the link on the right hand side, you can see it up there. Click on the reserve your space. Go. There's two options, and I'll talk to you about your two options. But first, the guarantee. Here's what you need to do. Invest today. This discounted price is only available to you here. You can go on our website tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day, and you're going to pay $2,997 plus VAT. You can attend our service accommodation masterclass. You can keep all the exclusive bonus material. And if you're unhappy after the masterclass, for any reason, just come and tell me. No worries, I'll give you a full refund. You don't even need to tell me why. So you can do the masterclass, you can keep all the bonuses, you can keep all the material. And if you don't value what I've given you, just tell me and I'll give you all your money back. So here it is. Do nothing. 40, 40, 40. That's what I started by telling you. Most people, 40 hours a week for 40 years of their life to retire on 40% of what they couldn't afford to live on in the first place. Warren Buffett. If you do not find a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. Is this the way you make money while you sleep, or do you want to work until you die? Because I don't. I've never wanted to work until I die. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it, with who I want to do it. And I want each and every one of you to have that chance. I want each and every one of you to have a phone in your pocket just like that, with a screenshot. Today's volume, £11,825.12. And over the last 3 months, over £500,000. That's what I want each and every one of you to have. And you're going to do it quicker than I did it, because I had to make it up from scratch. I had to develop the systems. There was no one training this stuff. Nobody. No books to read. I had no option other than to do it the hard way. Fall into all those potholes on the way to success. As I say, I'm sure you're familiar with it. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, far in this service accommodation business, go together. We'd love to go together with you. If you ignore this exclusive opportunity, you won't be able to pocket an extra £1,000 per month per property. And I don't want that to be you. The average serviced apartment makes an extra £1,000 per month over and above any other way of operating it that I know. Please take me up on that. Last but not least, are you attending with a business or life partner? If you make the investment and you reserve 2 spots today, second person is 50%. Think about the difference this masterclass will make to them too. Now, if you're anything like me and Aniko, we sit in the same course, we hear totally different things because we're totally different people. Synergy. 2 people attending together are going to get more than twice the value. But the second person is just 50%. So feel free to take advantage of that offer. And when you click on the order form there, you're going to get given the choice. Do you want to pay in full? Because you've got a bonus I haven't told you about yet. You've got an extra pay in full bonus. You can take advantage of the finance. And for both of those, you can either buy 1 or 2 spots. Last time, 2 days, face-to-face masterclass training. More than 2,000 people have done this now. Thousands of service accommodation businesses live and thriving. The systems blueprints, all of the systems you need end to end. The membership access to the ongoing support from the Facebook community. Last chance. We are about to start charging for this. First bonus, swipe and deploy Vault. All of the checklists, the cheat sheets, everything to get you going quick. The contract library, the management agreement, joint venture agreements, the terms and conditions of hire, everything you need to get going in the service accommodation business right now, today. Now, if you want to do it in one go, it's just 1995 plus VAT, and you can take 1 or 2 spaces. And if you take 2 spaces, we'll just charge you for 1.5. The total value 8499, but we're only going to charge you 1995 plus the VAT if you want to make that investment in yourself today. So I've already been through this. We've got 3 choices of venues for you, and there's at least 2, sometimes 3 courses every month, and your place will be valid for an entire year. So you're going to get 30, 40, 50 different opportunities to come with us. So don't worry about the date, just go and make the investment and talk to the team tomorrow to make sure you've got a venue and a date that suits you. If you come to Doncaster, we'd love to host you in our offices. That lowers our costs. So we're going to give you a complimentary night's accommodation in one of our service accommodation units for just £1.50. And we'd really appreciate it if you leave us a review. It doesn't have to be, it needs to be an honest review, not good, not bad, just an honest review. Or you can come and see us in London or Glasgow, but we can't make that offer because that's not where our offices are. Brand new payment plan. Here it is. Get started now, today, for just, these prices all include VAT. £247 deposit. We have to take a deposit of at least 10%. So and it's 0% APR. You're going to get that 1995 plus VAT price. So that's more than £1,000 off of the website price. And we're going to give you that for 0% APR. But to make it easy for you, I've just added on the VAT. I'm going to show you how to get the VAT back. But the credit card or the debit card payment that we're looking for tonight is just 247 quid. That's it. You then apply for finance with our finance partner. As soon as you're approved, you can come on the course tomorrow, if there is one tomorrow. You need to check out the dates. Then you've got simple, affordable monthly payments. 12 payments. I've used an example here, 0% APR, 178.92. You choose whatever you want. And that again includes VAT. And depending on your tax position, that could be less than £100 it actually costs you. By the time you've reclaimed the VAT and you've set this against your tax. And I know for many of you that might be kind of, oh, what's he talking about? How does that work? I'll show you. Come and see me. I will literally show you on the course. Now, if you decide, well, I don't want to take advantage of that 0% APR, what I actually want to do is get an extra bonus. So if you make a payment in full, right here, right now, our fantastic commercial solicitor, Sarah Miles of Langley's legal firm, we've recorded an absolutely stupendous legal ins and outs of SA. Sarah is, well, she's fantastic. I've been working with her for years, and you can't miss this. It's a powerful video, and it will get you prepared for the course right now. So if you can afford the 1995 plus VAT in one on your credit card, we want to recognise and thank you for that, and we will give you Sarah Miles' legal ins and outs of service accommodation completely free on us. However you decide to do it, I want to work with you. I want to be there with you. I want to spend 2 days with you, a date of your choice, with our other wonderful service department trainers. So thank you. I'm going to officially end the webinar right here, right now. There's the contact details if you want to phone us to query anything that we've talked about. 01302 897 131 and talk to the team. I'm going to flip into a Q&A now, and I've got quite a few questions. We're working away in the chat box to answer as many questions as we can, so I'm going to stick around for another 5-10 minutes and answer any questions you got. And then after that, I'm going to ask the team to step in and answer questions for me. So if you have any queries whatsoever, please put them in the chat box. So first up, okay, I'm watching this on my phone. I want the finance offer, but I'm on a train. I've got a dodgy signal. How can I do that? Okay, well, if you're in a situation like that and you want to make the investment in yourself, Jim Rohn, I'm sure you all know him, or many of you will know him. Estate education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. I don't want you to miss out because you've got a dodgy internet connection. So what to do is just put a comment in the chat box. Say, just put buy, B-U-Y, and then give us a phone number or an email. And the team will contact you tomorrow to discuss, do you want to make full payment? Do you want to make an instalment payment? And we will, I will, so if anybody's got some sort of tech or internet or whatever problem, because I've certainly had my share of those, I don't want you to miss out on this life-changing opportunity just because you can't click a few buttons. So give us either your email address or preferably your mobile phone number, and we'll talk to you. And yeah, so all you need to do is put that in the chat box, and we'll contact you tomorrow and discuss how you want to make this investment. Okay, next up I have Lisa, and what Lisa is saying is, Paul, I've heard that service accommodation is a business, i.e. not residential. How do I claim my small business rates relief? Wow, Lisa, you're well informed. What you do is you can contact the VOA, the Valuation Office Assessors, and what they will do is they'll come and visit your property. They will, so you won't pay council tax, you will pay business rates, and you can then claim small business rates relief from your council website. And that could save you as much as £12,500, which is probably equivalent to about £15,000 to £16,000 in council tax. So that's a very, very smart question, Lisa. Okay, next up, John is saying, booked, see ya, love the finance option, wanted to do this for years. Thank you so much for putting that finance in place. My pleasure, John, and I look forward to working with you very, very soon. Okay, I hope I'm going to pronounce this right. I think it's Ekaterina. My apologies if it's not. Ekaterina is saying, happy to pay in full because I want the Sarah Miles ins and outs of legal service accommodation. How do I get that? Okay, so thank you and look forward to working with you very soon, Ekaterina. And Ekaterina is saying, I want to come to one of your London venues. Well, no problem. Absolutely my pleasure. What we're going to do is send to you the link to Sarah Miles' video, and you can then watch it from our secure YouTube channel as many times as you like. So there you go. Thank you very much. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people saying that they want to come and work with us in Doncaster. No problem at all, because they want, you've all booked, no, hang on, 4 of the 5 have booked. You want the £1.50 accommodation offer. How do you claim that? Phone that phone number tomorrow, the one on the screen in front of you, 01302 897 131, and speak to the team, and they will get you booked in. So is it for one of you? Is it for 2 of you? Doesn't matter. £1.50, same price. That was one of the questions. And you can claim it regardless of whether you go with full payment or whether you take us up on the 0% APR for 12 months offer. Absolutely, completely up to you. Okay, so I've now got Justin, oh, Doncaster, okay. I want to do the course, I'm just booking on now, I'm going for the finance option. I live in Doncaster, can you give me any additional, because I don't need a comment. Oh, all right, I get it. So we've got someone that actually lives in Doncaster, wants to come to a Doncaster venue, doesn't want to take us up on the £1.50 offer. What I would say to you is, Justin, please do take us up on the £1.50 offer. Why? Well, you'll actually see how service accommodation works. You'll actually come and stay in one of our SA units. You'll experience getting in and out. You'll get all of our guest communications. You'll get access to our app. So this might sound a bit crazy, but even though you live in Doncaster, please do take us up on that offer and come and experience staying in one of our service departments. Okay, so is that Eliza? I think it's Eliza. Eliza, sorry, I'm 53 now, so my eyes are a bit dodgy with or without my glasses. So if I'm pronouncing anybody's name wrong, apologies. Eliza is saying that screenshot you showed, Paul, of £551,000 in 3 months of takings. How long has it taken you to do that? Answer to that, Eliza, 4 years. Yeah, so this is 2018, so 2014, yes, 4 years. But you can do it quicker than that because there were no books to read. There was no courses to go on. We had to learn from scratch. So we've had the pleasure of working with thousands and thousands of people, which we absolutely love, which means we get better and better at delivering more and more value more and more quickly. So the achievements of some of our students are just stupefying. I mean, just incredible. And it's such an absolute pleasure to be part of this community. Okay, I've got time for maybe one or two more questions. That looks like a name from my wife's home country. That's Attila. So Attila is in Basingstoke now, but I'm going to guess Attila may possibly be Hungarian, because that's quite a normal Hungarian name. Not saying you are Attila, and my apologies if you're not, but I always like, I married one, so I like Hungarians. Attila is saying, Paul, capital allowances fascinate me. I've seen lots of your webinars. Will we cover on the course capital allowances in detail? Absolutely. And Attila has then put in a second, well, it's not a question, it's a statement. Paul, I've wanted to do this for years, never been able to afford it. Thank you so much for putting the finance in place. Attila, my absolute pleasure. Okay, I'm going to wrap up now, but I'm going to leave the webinar up. I've got a couple of volunteers from Touchstone HQ who are SA experts, and what they are going to do is keep answering your questions in the chat box. I've got to go because I'm actually going out just now with some service accommodation students, so I've agreed to have dinner with some of them, so I need to get moving, but I want to end like I always end, so don't go. Please take your time. The webinar's not going to collapse, finish, whatever. We're going to leave it there so you can book yourselves on and ask whatever questions you want. So, just because I'm going doesn't, we've still got some SA experts answering all your questions. So thank you, my wonderful friends, for investing the time and effort, and thank you so much for the vote of confidence. It means a huge amount. It makes me smile on the inside that so many of you have said see you in mainly Doncaster or London. To be honest, I've got a few that are saying see you in Glasgow. Please do take advantage of this fabulous offer. So 247 quid including the VAT plus whatever it was, can't remember, £178 and whatever pennies it was for 12 months. Less than £200 a month to change your life. Seems to have hit a real chord. Enjoy. You, my friends, have been wonderful. I've been Paul. See you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.